What's up? This is Zombie Talk 123. Tonight, the Cardinals have unveiled. How do you say it? Revealed their decision on the next manager to replace Tony La Russa. Now, if you watch my other videos, I pretty much mention it almost every video that I'm a Cardinal fan because at some point I get to talking about the Cardinals, which probably shouldn't do if I'm talking about a signing that has nothing to do with the Cardinals. But sometimes I compare and contrast things that the Cardinals have done. So anyway, again, I'm a huge Cardinal fan, and this year's been so great, such a seesaw year, and just an amazing finish. I mean, it's still shocking of what happened. It hasn't all sank in yet. But I have a long offseason to think about it, and as now second base options are getting lower and lower, Aaron Hill signs with the Diamondbacks. Kelly Johnson doesn't seem like it's very realistic for us. And John Mozeliak actually today or yesterday said that Daniel Descalso is projected to be the starting second baseman for next year. How do I feel about that? I like it. I was thinking, we need to go and get like a guy like Kelly Johnson, but free agency is not the way to go all the time. You can't put a Band-Aid on a position with free agency all the time. It's better to develop guys. And Descalso has a great glove. He played a lot third base, filling in for David Freese in late innings and when he was hurt. So, moving to second, that's what the position he was drafted as and came up as. And, his bat should be better. It was a pretty good bat this year. Came with some big hits, a clutch hitter. But I think next year he'll probably put up some numbers around maybe 270, and 6-7 home runs, maybe less than that. Hopefully driving some runs. He'll probably be bottom of the order, maybe even the eighth hitter, honestly. But I'm okay with that move. Get another lefty in the lineup, and I'm fine with that. But about the manager, Tony La Russa, third all-time wins, had such a huge legacy in St. Louis. Ever since I was born, I've only seen Tony La Russa in our dugout with his glasses or with that straight face, managing all the moves they would pull in, lefty, righty, bullpen, tiny little moves that he did all the time really affected the Cardinals and really helped them. And in this World Series, maybe in the past it didn't work out, but in this World Series especially, every move he made was critical, and most of the moves worked out. Almost every move did. And so he pulled the right strings, and the St. Louis Cardinals won their 11th World Series in their in 2011, and Albert Pujols' 11th year, and all these different 11s involved with this team. And Tony La Russa retires, winning on top. He instead of signing another contract or I believe he had an option actually for this year. No, he might have had to sign a new contract. I don't know. But, he decides to retire on top. It was a big story, obviously. Who's going to replace him? I think Mike Matheny was one of those guys that when I was thinking at first, I didn't think of him as an actual replacement. I was thinking the Cardinals were going to go big name guy. Look at Terry Francona. Obviously you're going to look in-house at Jose Oquenda, who, managed a futures game a few years ago with Ozzie Smith in St. Louis. It's pretty similar to Tony La Russa's styling. A lot of players respect him a lot. They want to play for him. And, he's been very loyal. He had some interviews with other teams, but nothing ever happened. He decided to stay in St. Louis. And, you'd think that after Tony La Russa leaves, he would be kind of the number one choice if you want to stay in the organization. And instead, they bring in a guy who has no Major League managerial experience in Mike Matheny. Now, if you're part of the national mass population that doesn't focus strictly on the Cardinals, you would be like, this is a really odd move. If you're, definitely a hardcore Cardinal fan, you've been checking in every day, or maybe you're just a Cardinal fan, you're like, why did they pick Mike Matheny and why not Terry Francona? Why not the other guys? Well, first of all, Terry Francona, I'm not even sure if their interview was really serious or not. I think they were having the interview because, I think everyone expects them to interview Terry Francona. Has the best track records out there for the candidates that they were interviewing. So I think they were expected to interview Terry Francona, but the way Terry Francona came out of it saying, I love the city, great tradition, we just had a casual conversation, it didn't sound like it was very pressing or they were really seriously talking about, whether he would take this job or not, because he was obviously the most experienced candidate out there, or the most successful candidate out there. Ryan Sandberg, I really like that candidate. I thought between Ryan Sandberg and Mike Matheny and Jose Oquenda, I think one of those three would have got the job. And then as it got closer and closer to this day, Mike Matheny was definitely the front runner. Everyone's talking Mike Matheny, inside sources, they like Mike Matheny. The organization loves Mike Matheny. I guess that the players really respect him. They think he's a great leader. He was in the spring training, as volunteer coach or whatever last year. Dave Duncan loves him. Albert Pujols has a lot of respect. Everyone has a lot of respect for this guy. I mean, he was a catcher for 13 years. And there's something about catchers that really understand every aspect of the game. Dave Duncan. There's a lot of catchers that turn out to be pitching coaches, and there's a lot of catchers there's a few catchers that turn out to be pitchers. Catchers really understand the game, and they're just an all-around great player. So, Mike Matheny was a great catcher, too. That just adds on to it. So you're bringing in a guy, he's only 41, has no major league managerial experience, but, he's a great leader. The organization loves him. He has a great relationship with John Mozeliak, which, it's not a great thing for the general managers to hire someone because they have a good relation. Obviously, that's not why you hire him. But I think John Mozeliak and Tony, they definitely have their differences, and I think that John Mozeliak wants to have a manager that he can, really talk baseball about too, and they can be on the same page about things. And Mike Matheny, is 41 again, 2-year deal, club option for 2014. We need a young guy. In my opinion, this is a good deal. I think this is between him or Ryan Sandberg, in my opinion. And you want to go with a Cardinal, a former Cardinal. He played for 5 years with the Cardinals. You remember? I think a lot of people remember him as a catcher. And I think that he'll be a solid manager. He's a leader. He's going to help the young guys out. He understands the game. Hopefully the veterans respect him. Some of the veterans are right around his age, which is very interesting. But I think he'll be a good leader for the Cardinals, and we need a leader. And more importantly, I think we just need a new, fresh look for this team. Before this year, even before the last year when we weren't successful in the playoffs, I was like, I think it might be time for Tony Lewis to retire, and I think it might be time to, get some faster, younger guys in here somehow, trade for agency, maybe get a new manager, just change it up a little bit in the right ways, not just change everything, but, in the right ways. And, everything worked out. We won the World Series this year, couldn't have been better. Tony Lewis retires. I think it was a great time for him to retire. We bring in a new, fresh look, and I think a lot of people are wondering, why are they bringing in this guy? But we just won the World Series, and you have a chance to develop what could be a great manager. He has a lot of, great leadership qualities. A young guy, a fresh look to the Cardinals. I'm not sure if he's into base running or what, some of those things that he's into, but I think he'll be a good manager for the Cardinals, and we'll be able to see throughout next year. And it's a 2-year contract, so he'll be in here 2012, 2013, and a club option for 2014. So that is the move. That's why the Cardinals made it. And we will see how he does in the first full season. He has a great team to work with or without Pujols. He still has a lot of core players that will obviously have a great, team to work with. So at the end of the day, the players are going to be out there competing. But Mike Matheny, I think, is a pretty good choice. And I think it was kind of obvious the last few days that they're going to pick him. More news kept coming out about how they love Mike Matheny. So if you're part of the mass audience that's not a Cardinal fan, you might be really shocked by this. But if you really dig deeper, you could been predicting this for a few days almost. All right, thanks for watching Zombie Talk 1, 2, 3. Cardinals hire Mike Matheny as their new manager for 2012. A manager, a to-be manager with no managerial experience in the major leagues, replacing one of the greatest managers of all time and probably the greatest Cardinal manager of all time, Tony La Russa. So it's going to be a little odd. I don't know if there's ever been a manager or a manager-to-be who has no managerial experience take over a World Series team. Defending champs. All right, St. Louis Cardinals, again, hire Mike Matheny. Thanks for watching Zombie Talk 1, 2, 3.